Hi everybody, it's Hugh. Well, there is good, there is really good, and then there is elite. We are talking about Callaway's new line of elite drivers, and who better to talk to about them than Callaway's own Johnny Wunder. Johnny, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
nice
it.
To see you. That was a hell of an intro.
Well, that's what they pay me the big bucks for. Let's start, first of all, before we get into all the tech, the name, Elite, kind of a nice nod.
It was a nice nod. I mean, they were talking about, raising the level of performance and all that stuff, and Elite's something that we say in the office quite a bit, and it was kind of a play on words and a nod to Eli Callaway, who's obviously transformative in the business and, a big risk taker and always pushing the envelope, and that's kind of why you got to the name.
You guys are pushing the envelope with technology in these drivers as well. Let's talk a little bit about that. The first thing that I notice is the shape of these drivers.
Right. So we've obviously maxed out speed on the face. Like, you can't make them any faster, so you have to find clever ways to make it swing faster. So one of the things that our R&D guys did was take a little bit of real estate out of here and out of here, kind of make the shape a little bit more aerodynamic, and all in an effort to just help the golfer swing it faster. And in our testing, it actually resulted in 1, 2, 3 miles an hour ball speed, depending on who the player was. But in this day and age, if you're a consumer that buys a driver every year, if you're getting a mile and a half, 2 miles an hour year in and year out, that's a lot. I mean, that's 6 yards essentially. So that means a lot to the golfer.
Let's talk dispersion. One of the selling points for this driver is tighter dispersion. How do you guys achieve that?
What we've noticed on tour is it kind of boils down to two basic hits as it relates to like your better player. It's really good out of the toe, so typically a toe miss will go straight and dive, for a left-hander guys, dive right. This actually has a start line that kind of starts, this way, the start line that kind of falls the other way, which, got on Xander's radar. I really love that. And those are new misses that we didn't have before that are obviously very efficient. So that's this thing doing its job.
So the reaction from the tour players has been quite positive so far.
Very positive. I'll say it quickly. Typically Xander's very hard to test with. He's always like one of those hit three just to humor us, especially during the season. And we brought a prototype out to him in Vegas. And I was the one on site helping him out that day, and he hit 4 balls, 5 balls. He started getting quiet and started getting engaged, and he kind of looked at me. He's like, I like this thing. And I was like, oh my God, he likes it. He likes it. So he took it with him that day. That was in early October. He's had it in the bag ever since.
So he fell in love with it right away. There are 3 models that we're going to talk about today. There's the Core model, there is the X model, and there is the Triple Diamond model. Tell us a little bit about each one and who these models are for.
So you have your kind of fastball down the middle, which is your elite head. Honestly, this is a tour player all the way to your 15-20 handicapper. It's very versatile. I think it's actually the most versatile core head that we've made. If you move the weights around in a proper fitting, you come to Golf Town and get dialed in, you can do some fun stuff with this driver. You can either make it high MOI kind of ball speed machine, or you can make it a really fast low speed machine if you front load the weight. So this is a really, really cool head. Then you go to your X head. I don't want to describe this as an anti-slice driver. It's kind of a draw machine. It's a little bit more upright than the Core model, only 2 weights here. So if you move it to here, it's kind of draw bias, and it's super draw bias if you move it and draw. Very forgiving, very fast, but just kind of like the draw brother of the Core head.
So that might be for a guy like me who tends to get a little right with my drives. This will help that, obviously.
Yeah, so if you're a player that hits a cut, like for a right-handed player, it's going to save the floaty one to the right. And if you're a player that likes to kind of aim down the right and kind of get it to hook back in the middle, that's kind of your driver. Alex Noren played the AI Smoke version of that last year all year for that very reason. He couldn't overcut it, and he could draw it easily. So
love it already. And we finish up with the Triple Diamond.
Triple Diamond doesn't change all that much. Obviously the shape is slightly different, but ultimately it's a Triple Diamond driver. It's your low spin. I don't want to say low launch, but it's your lower spin profile, kind of a right start or like a fade bias start line. It's a little bit harder to turn over, but it's a tour part. So it's for your scratch to 5-6 handicap player, your faster player to really take advantage of the technology. But this is kind of our tour workhorse, and this is kind of what you see. I mean, obviously it won 2 majors last year and won the Grand Slam over the last 4, so you don't want to screw around with it too much.
Yeah, the thing I noticed too is these two, the Core model and the X, are the matte finish. This has the gloss finish.
This was a tour thing. So we showed them prototypes with a Triple Diamond like this that I thought looked amazing, but we took a consensus across our staff. They liked this look. It just, for them, it looks like a tour driver when it's glossy like that, and so they gave them what they wanted. So
all right, Johnny, we've talked about them. Now let's get our director of instruction, Kyle Gordon, to hit them.
All right, Kyle, we got to get you dialed in. So I'm going to start you off core model, neutral stated loft, 10.5 here. We got the, I think Denali black here. So really quickly, just so I have some, like a frame of reference, like what's your normal shot shape? Or do you hit it high, do you hit it low? Like what, talk to me really quickly.
I hit it relatively high.
Okay.
I mean, tendency is to be a little bit more left than right. You know, don't really like it going too far left.
Does that happen when you tend to swing it a little faster? If you try to step on one and then
Get after it a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Let's see you hit a couple. You hit that good.
I don't think we're gonna get much better than that.
Yeah, that's, you could hear it.
In the Elite, tend to typically have to go to the triple diamond head automatically just from a shot shape tendency, and these are all going down the center line. So that tells me that there's some really good things going on from a CG standpoint here.
So our core head, typically the separation between triple diamond and the core head is usually like 70-30, 70% on the triple diamond side. I think this year we're actually gonna be pretty close to 50-50. We're gonna have a lot of guys in that head for the very reason that what you're experiencing, one, and two, if you front load the weight for the guys that want the forgiveness but still want to keep the spin down, if you front load the weight on this thing, it turns into an absolute like maniacal monster.
Seeing the standard deviation of the spin though, like that's wild.
Yeah, get it.
Man. So 107 standard deviation, the spin is pretty much the same every single time.
That's wild. Like if you left with this driver right now, you're cooked. Like you're
I'd be
good.
happy with this, yeah.
Okay, here's triple diamond. I just put this in NS. I believe the heavyweight's back. Okay.
Yep.
So go ahead and give this a whack.
Ooh. Oh boy. That's kind of the one I want to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was hammered.
Longest ball of the day with a bit of a cut shape and 2400 spin.
All right, fellas. Johnny, before we get to Kyle, and he's got a huge smile on his face because he's very happy with what he saw here. You saw the numbers.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, he hit about 12 or 15 shots. He hit about 6 with each, and his standard deviation across the board, I mean, you guys will see the numbers, was wild. I mean, I think with the Elite, his standard deviation on spin was like 107, which is like, it's God mode. And then I think it was like 225 or something like that with the triple diamond. I honestly, at this point, it's like what driver to pick. I don't know. It's kind of like dealer's choice. I mean, either one works. You hit them, you know, you hit the triple diamond one, obviously very efficient, but there's a benefit to both. So, you know, I don't know what recommendation to make.
So this was the very first time Kyle has ever hit the Elite driver. These were his very first swings with this driver. Are you surprised by these numbers?
No, it's pretty much what I've seen. Like I've done, you know, a lot of non-staff fittings for tour guys, and it's kind of the same thing I'm seeing across the board. Very efficient, very fast. And the misses are really good. So I knew what was going to happen, but I'm happy that he now knows what happens.
Yeah, I think looking at some of the numbers and seeing where I hit it on the face, you know, I moved the ball strike around on the face a little bit, and seeing the consistency out of the spin number is the most important. Typically, I see that really climb when I go low heel and hit those really, you know, pushes out to the left. I hit none of those today.
And if you guys go to the top of the video, I talked about the misses that the tour players liked, and that's kind of what you saw was, you know, low heel, high toe. Ball stays on line, spin stays in a nice window, and
yeah. Kyle, we've done a number of these videos with a whole bunch of different drivers. I've never seen you hit the ball as well and be as happy with the results as you are with this one.
Honestly, I think 167 is the new record for these videos. Even trying to kill it in some of these videos. That's the fastest shot I think I've got recorded on a Foresight launch monitor. So, you know, really great to see that. You know, being a tough decision, it just speaks to what you guys are putting into the driver from a technology standpoint. You know, the core up the gut model having really fast ball speeds and not really deviating too far off the line for a hook tendency for me. You know, really good, really fast, consistent. Both look really good too. I think I'm gonna go with the one that probably goes a little bit farther because
I think like if I had to pick, I would say you're 51% triple diamond, 49% core model. But like, you know, you talked about speed, but efficient speed. Like, you know, not all speed's good, but like if it's efficient, you know where it's going and the ball's in your hand, then you got something. So
yeah, that's
you're
fantastic.
in good shape.
Two excellent drivers. To find out which Callaway Elite driver is best for you, simply head to your nearest golf town and talk to one of our master club fitters.